Hi, I'm Annie. My life was pretty normal until my daughter's diagnosis turned everything upside down. Lily is 8, with big brown eyes and a smile that lights up rooms. Even hospital rooms, which we've seen plenty of since she was diagnosed with Batten disease, a rare genetic disorder that affects the nervous system. I was sitting beside Lily's hospital bed, holding her small hand while she slept. The beeping of monitors had become our household soundtrack. My husband David walked in with coffee cups, the dark circles under his eyes matching mine. Any change? David handed me a cup, his wedding ring clinking against it. Her fever's down a little. Doctor says that's good. David squeezed my shoulder. I've got that meeting with the insurance company at 4. I'm going to make them cover the new treatment. You always fight for us. I managed to smile. That's David. Steady, reliable, the opposite of my family. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. I sighed and answered. Annie, when are you coming to Mark's award dinner? It's this Friday. I rubbed my temples. Mom, Lily's still in the hospital. I can't leave her. Your brother is being recognized by the medical board. This could lead to his chief residency. I understand, but bring David instead then. You don't both need to be there with her every minute. No, Mom. 2 hours later, my mother, Karen, stormed into the hospital room wearing designer clothes that seemed wildly out of place. My brother, Mark, trailed behind her in his white coat, looking uncomfortable. This is ridiculous, Annie, Karen announced loudly. You're going to ruin Mark's big night. Lower your voice, Mom. Lily's sleeping. Mark checked Lily's chart, his face professional. The new treatment protocol is experimental. There's no guarantee. It's our best hope, I said. Karen rolled her eyes. Do you know how much this is costing? The family money that could be supporting Mark's career? David walked in, immediately tensing at the sight of my mother and brother. How long are you going to keep this up? Karen continued. These treatments, the hospital stays? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She's my daughter. Karen looked at Lily's small form and actually laughed, a cold, dismissive sound. Maybe it's time to let her go, Annie. Mark's career matters more than throwing good money after bad. The family has a reputation. The room went silent. Even the machine seemed to pause. Get out. David's voice was deadly quiet. Don't be dramatic, Karen waved her hand. I'm just being practical. Dr. Stevens and I were discussing Lily's case yesterday, and he agrees these experimental treatments are excessive. My blood ran cold. You talked to Lily's doctor? Behind my back? Dr. Stevens and I serve on the hospital foundation board together. He understands the importance of Mark's future. Some patients simply can't be saved, Annie. I stood up, my hands shaking. Get out of this room, now. Mark at least had the decency to look ashamed. Mom, let's go. As they left, I caught Mark whispering. Dr. Stevens said he'd handle the transfer paperwork. Transfer? What transfer? David held me as I shook with anger. We're not going to let them do this, he promised. Whatever they're planning, we'll stop them. Looking at my daughter's face, I made a silent promise. My family had chosen sides, and they were about to learn they'd chosen the wrong one. I couldn't sleep that night. The words transfer paperwork kept ringing in my ears. While David dozed in the chair beside Lily's bed, I opened my laptop and logged into the patient portal. Something wasn't adding up. Hey, you should get some rest. David stirred, his voice groggy. I can't. Look at this. Lily's treatment schedule has been modified. The experimental protocol is gone. David leaned over my shoulder. Who authorized that? It says Dr. Stevens, dated yesterday. My stomach twisted. Right after Mom spoke with him. The next morning, I called my best friend Rachel, who's an attorney specializing in medical law. This is seriously messed up, Annie. Rachel arrived at the hospital with her briefcase and a determination I was counting on. They can't just change treatment plans without parental consent. My mother has her claws in everyone at this hospital. Not everyone. Rachel pulled out her laptop. Let's check the family trust accounts. You said Karen mentioned family money going to Lily's care? My father had left a substantial trust for family emergencies before he died. I hadn't touched it, wanting to save it for Lily's future needs. Rachel whistled as she scrolled through the account statements. Annie, you need to see this. There have been monthly withdrawals, large ones, going to a foundation called Medical Excellence Initiative. I've never heard of it. Google says it's a scholarship program for promising medical residents, specifically at Mark's hospital. My hands trembled as I took the laptop. They're using Lily's emergency money to fund Mark's career? Over $200,000 in the past year. Rachel's eyes were sympathetic but fierce. And guess who's on the board of directors? Karen and Dr. Stevens. Just then, my phone buzzed with a text from David. Come quick, transfer papers arrived. We rushed to Lily's room. David held a stack of documents. They want to move her to County General, he said, his voice tight. Tomorrow. County doesn't even have a pediatric neurology department. I felt sick. Rachel took the papers. This is illegal without your consent. As we discussed options, I heard familiar voices in the hallway. I motioned for David and Rachel to be quiet and cracked the door. Stevens is handling it, Mark was saying. County General will take her. No questions asked. Perfect. Karen's voice was smug. Once she's there, the experimental treatments stop. We redirect the trust money and you're free from this distraction. The Madison Fellowship Committee won't look kindly on a doctor with messy family drama. The Madison Fellowship? Mark sounded surprised. That's what this is about. It's the most prestigious position in the country, Mark. Think of your future. Besides, Annie's always been unrealistic about Lily's chances. I closed the door, my body ice cold with rage. Did you hear that? I whispered. Rachel was already typing on her phone. I'm recording everything, and I'm calling in some favors at the state medical board. David pulled me close. We're going to fight this. No, I said, my mind suddenly clear. We're going to destroy them. We need evidence nobody can ignore, I told Rachel and David as we huddled in Lily's hospital room. Audio recordings, emails, anything that proves what they're doing. David pulled out his phone. I downloaded a recording app. High quality, saves directly to cloud storage. Rachel nodded approvingly. Smart, but we need to be strategic. Karen and Mark won't just spill their plans if they think you're listening. What if I pretend to give in? The idea hit me suddenly. I'll tell them I'm considering the transfer to county, that I'm tired of fighting. David looked unsure. You think they'll buy that? Mom has always underestimated me. She thinks I'm weak. We didn't have to wait long. That afternoon, Karen showed up alone, her designer purse swinging as she strutted in. I'm glad you're being reasonable about the transfer, she said, not even looking at Lily. My phone was recording in my pocket. It's just so exhausting, Mom. Maybe you're right about county. Of course I'm right. Mark needs to focus on the Madison Fellowship application. The committee visits next week, and your little drama here isn't helping. So that's really what this is about? Mark's fellowship? The Madison would set him up for life, chief of surgery by 40. Your father would have been so proud. And Lily? What about her treatment? Karen waved dismissively. County will make her comfortable. That's all we can hope for with her condition. When she left, I was shaking with rage. David wrapped his arms around me. You were amazing. We've got her admitting the real reason. The next day, Rachel arrived with legal documents. I've filed for an emergency injunction against the transfer, and I've secured copies of the trust documents. Karen had no authority to redirect those funds. What about Dr. Stevens? I asked. That's trickier. We need proof he changed Lily's treatment plan under pressure. I remembered something. The hospital fundraiser is this Friday. Mom mentioned it's where the Madison Fellowship Committee will first meet Mark. Rachel's eyes lit up. Perfect. All the big players in one room. We spent the next 3 days gathering evidence. David planted his phone during Mark's visit, capturing him discussing with a nurse how the transfer would help his career. I pretended to accidentally enter Dr. Stevens' office, finding emails open on his computer about the Medical Excellence Initiative. and its connection to Mark's fellowship. Rachel set up a fake meeting with the hospital board where I acted conflicted about the transfer. Karen and Mark took the bait, explaining in detail how County General was good enough for terminal cases like Lily's. The board members seemed uncomfortable, Rachel said afterward. They're starting to suspect something's wrong. On Friday morning, I visited the hospital's administrative office. I'd like to make a donation presentation at tonight's fundraiser, I told the event coordinator. It's a surprise. That's wonderful. Your mother has been so generous with the hospital. Yes, I smiled, but this contribution will be quite different. That evening, I dressed carefully, selecting the black dress I'd worn to my father's funeral. Symbolism Karen wouldn't miss. Are you ready for this? David asked, adjusting his tie. I checked my phone where all our evidence was organized. Audio recordings, financial documents, time-stamped treatment changes. Lily deserves better than what they tried to do to her, I said. And they're about to learn exactly what happens when you mess with my daughter. The hospital ballroom glittered with chandeliers and wealthy donors in formal wear. David squeezed my hand as we entered. Rachel was already inside, positioned near the audio-visual controls. Karen spotted me from across the room, her face momentarily registering surprise before she composed herself and glided over. Annie, I didn't expect you to come. Who's watching Lily? A nurse we trust. I wouldn't miss this for the world. Mark appeared in a tailored suit, looking nervous. The Madison Committee members are here. I'm being introduced in 20 minutes. Perfect timing, I smiled. I'm making a special announcement in 15. Karen's eyes narrowed. What announcement? Before I could answer, the hospital director clinked his glass. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we celebrate those who support our mission of healing. After several boring speeches, the director called, and now Annie Mitchell has a special presentation. I walked to the podium, my heart pounding. The room quieted. My daughter Lily has been a patient here for 2 years. Tonight, I want to talk about family, trust, and medical ethics. I nodded to Rachel, who started the audio recording. Karen's voice filled the room. Maybe it's time to let her go, Annie. Mark's career matters more than throwing good money after bad. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. I continued. My mother, Karen Mitchell, and brother, Dr. Mark Mitchell, conspired with Dr. Stevens to transfer my critically ill daughter to a facility without proper care, all to boost my brother's career prospects. Another recording played. Mark's voice discussing with Dr. Stevens how Lily's treatments were a distraction from his fellowship application. They illegally diverted over $200,000 from a family trust meant for Lily's care to fund a medical excellence initiative, coincidentally benefiting Mark's department. I displayed the financial documents on the screen behind me. Karen lunged toward the podium. She's lying! This is a family dispute. These are bank records, Mom. And here's the altered treatment plan, dated after your meeting with Dr. Stevens. The Madison Fellowship Committee members were whispering among themselves. The hospital board looked stunned. Dr. Stevens, I continued, changed my daughter's life-saving treatment plan without consultation, violating medical ethics and possibly the law. Dr. Stevens stood up red-faced. This is preposterous. I made medical decisions based on the patient's condition. Really? Then explain this email. Rachel projected his message to Karen. Handled the treatment change as discussed. The transfer should smooth Mark's path to the fellowship. The hospital director took the microphone. This meeting is adjourned. Dr. Stevens, my office now. Board members, emergency session in 10 minutes. 3 weeks later, Lily was responding well to her reinstated treatment protocol under a new medical team. Dr. Stevens was on administrative leave pending a medical board investigation. Mark's fellowship application had been rejected, with the committee citing character concerns. Karen called daily, her messages growing increasingly desperate as her social circle shunned her. I never answered. She sent flowers again, David said, bringing in a bouquet. Donate them to the pediatric ward. I kissed Lily's forehead as she colored in her bed, stronger each day. Rachel visited with news. The trust has been fully restored, plus damages. Karen and Mark are prohibited from any involvement in Lily's care. Good, I said. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. That evening, as Lily slept peacefully, I blocked Karen's number on my phone. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who fights beside you when the battle matters most. That's the end of Annie's story. Would you cut off toxic family members completely like Annie did? Or try to give them a second chance after such a betrayal? Is there any apology that could repair what Karen and Mark tried to do to Lily? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what you would have done in Annie's shoes. If you enjoyed this revenge story and want more like it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. New stories posted daily about people who finally stood up to the toxic people in their lives.